2012 tournament. That's right.
They haven't picked Alistar. I just assumed they would. There's not that many other cows in this game. In fact, I don't think there is any.
I think you're right.
Well, I hope they rectify their mistakes in the second game and pick that cow.
You hope that they rectify.
Correct.
What is?
Huh.
Chili, do you see this?
I see some have games going on.
What the fuck? I've never seen it. Okay, what? What?
Something to do with your 2 screens setup, maybe?
I have no idea. I was playing a game earlier that had a really low resolution on my original monitor, and I believe right now that, you know what, screw it. I have no idea why this is happening. I'm not going to even try to explain it. I do, however, need to know how to fix it. Now, I could just try to exit the game and and come back in.
Does that work if you're a spectator?
Actually, I haven't tested that. We're going to go into the game and see if I can access the start menu and then adjust my resolution, and hopefully within the game be able to fix the problem. If that does not work, I'm actually have to close League of Legends and hopefully be able to rejoin to then cast the game. Now, I can cast the game audially. You can watch my desktop while I talk about it, because of course Chili right next to me has a laptop. He's watching the game there. But that's, you know, not really what I was going for. I do have a dual screen setup, so that might have something to do with this. But my camera, when I go to my camera, oh, my mouse is locked in like it should be. When I go to my camera, that's good. What is going on? All right, we're in the game. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to first adjust this to full screen. You're going to see some blinking. It's going to suck, but but now we're in.
That's good.
And
That's
now
good start.
we're going to ignore that blinking. We're going to go to video. We're going to go back to borderless, and everything's going to be perfect.
Yep.
And it is.
Wow.
Although the right side of my border, the right side of my screen, is still not good. But I'm looking at XSplit right now, and everything looks good. So sorry about that delay and that weirdness, but we're now in the game.
Oh, whew, that was post-pounding.
That was pretty weird. We got some nice mana from both teams. Tofu throwing out the GLHF. Good luck, Graves. Primal Urge saying you too. Ugasplat Zig saying you too as well. Actually, Jana right now, the end already laying down the ward. The sapling has gone down from Luminios to ward that blue side jungle for purple team for Udderly Smooth. Udderly Smooth looks like they're going to be picking up blue early for their Skarner. He's probably going to actually start wolves up here. These are neutral creeps that spawn in the jungle, again, if you're not familiar with the game as much. And there is, for each team, there's going to be one member of the team that chooses instead of going into one of these lanes, we have top lane here, mid lane, and bot lane. Instead of that, they're actually going to be going into the jungle and killing these creeps almost exclusively for experience and gold. And then because of the fact that they're hidden from each other, actually I can demonstrate that right now. Blue team right now, these guys, Tofu, Rekvi, Luminios, DN, and Balls, they can actually only see this vision right now. They can't see anything. In fact, they have no idea where the other team is right now. They have a good idea of it, but they can't see them. Whereas the other team, Utterly Smooth, this is what they can see right now. So what's strong about the jungler is that the jungler actually will not be visible to the other team for a long period of time. Which means that they can surprise other teams by coming up for what's called a gank and assassination attempt, which is pretty cool. Right now we have both junglers going to blue right now. Huckett did pick up wolves beforehand, and Luminios did pick up wraiths beforehand. He got a pretty good pull. Both of them did get a pretty good leash from their respective teams. And we have everyone going up.
Actually, Diane and Balls to you took mini golems bottom. It's a kind of common strategy. If the jungle route doesn't start there, then they'll probably respawn by the time the Luminios gets there, so it's just free XP for bot lane.
Yep, free XP and gold, and you take relatively small amount of damage for doing it, so it's pretty much...
It's sensible.
Absolutely sensible. So I'm really interested specifically in... Actually, all of the lanes I think are going to be very dynamic for this particular game. Rumble can go either way. At least in the beginning of the game. After a while, it does kind of hit a point where she's really hard to push around, even as a strong character like Rumble. But for the beginning part of the game, it could definitely swing either way. Looks like both players right now are just kind of content to farm though. We have Tofu and Ugasplat in mid, and that's going to be quite bursty. This lane is going to have a lot to do with which champions end up getting the blue buff delivered by their junglers. The first one, of course, was taken by Luminios and Huckett, but if the blue... whoever has the blue buff is going to control this lane. in mid because they're both very mana-dependent champions. Looks like Primal Urge is already pushing on a bot lane, and Upside has already gone up toward the dragon for Udderly Smooth. It's a really early dragon, especially considering that Maokai does not have a whole lot of dragon control. You know, he's not a carry. He's not a jungle carry like Nocturne or Shaco or something like that. So his ability to do dragon alone is pretty low. So that ward is, I would say, a little bit excessive right there. However, this Tri-Brush ward for Utterly Smooth is a very smart idea.
Looks like top's been having little skirmishes with each other, both kind of low.
Yep.
And
one advantage that Kenpachi does have over Rek'Vi is, of course, that he just doesn't use mana, which is nice. But Irelia's mana costs are very low. Actually, he gets the stun off right there, and he dashes onto him. Kenpachi is actually taking a lot of damage. He misses his E. That's actually quite significant. You want to make sure that those hit. Those skill shots hit when you're playing Rumble. Maokai's actually already backed into a boots start. So this is interesting. He had the money for a Philosopher's Stone, but he chose to get boots because he wants to have stronger ganks. And as we do know, Maokai's a very strong ganker.
right.
He has an instant. But unfortunately, he's going to be just a little bit too late. I think Rek'Vi did have a good idea that Kenpachi was going to back. So Rumble, with the wave pushing against Rek'Vi, has chosen to back, and we now have Luminios going in to invade the Utterly Smooth jungle, as well as put a ward at a great location. He's actually going to come in. He's going to be in range for Ugaspot. There's the Twisted Advance. It does hit the red. The red is good. Tofu's using some nice... Oh man, but Tofu actually took a tower shot and an ignite. He's actually going to go down to that ignite. And Hecat's there with the red buff, the double buffs. In fact, he can't quite get his paws on top of Luminios, so Luminios is going to waltz out of there. But that was a little bit too aggressive by Tofu. That was interesting because he made a smart play with his. He laid down a pool of acid here, which cut off Ugaspot's retreat. But at that point, he should have just laid it on top of Ugaspot rather than cutting off his retreat. Because in doing so, he didn't get any of the slow from that poison.
Or the damage, and Ugaspot is very low, as you can tell.
Absolutely, and practically as well. He's out of mana.
But smart move on Ugaspot to realize that he could manage to kill Cassiopeia once she did die.
Absolutely. I mean, once Maokai's got that Twisted Advance down, but he's actually going down on Kenpachi now. We need to take a look at this. Very smart move by Luminios. He hasn't used the Twisted Advance yet. He still has it saved. There it is. He has the red buff application. There's the ignite. Kenpachi is almost definitely going to go down to, I think, Luminios. Yep. And a very smart pickup. That was exactly how you should play Maokai. Your Twisted Advance is a tool that you never want to use too early. He just walked up, let Rek'Vi get the first stun and slow, hit with red buff, and then did the knock-up with his Q, and then later Twisted Advanced.
And he Twisted Advanced right before
Kenpachi flashed.
And before he entered the bush. So while he still had vision, it was probably the last chance he could get to Twisted Advance until they both walked.
Absolutely, but actually look at Huckett. He's up top right now. Rek'Vi has taken two tower shots, but actually Huckett doesn't even. No, he's fine.
He doesn't have his ult.
And yeah, he wouldn't really be in a position to kill Rek'Vi there, but most players would definitely be tempted to put on the pressure, considering he just took two tower shots. Actually, look at this. This is super. Oh wait, no. I was gonna say super aggressive, but Tofu's turned around. He may have been going for a gank bottom lane, which would be really good. Utterly Smooth has no wards right now. The use of the early wards by Upside actually means that both of them are run out already. We should take a second here and look at CS before we get too far embedded in what's going on. I would like to point out the AD carries are absolutely even. So good job by both players to CS strong. It doesn't look like the bottom lanes are going to be very aggressive in this particular game. Although we have Luminios coming up in the brush right now. He's doing a lane gank. He does not have vision, or Utterly Smooth does not have vision. However, the lane is being pushed right now. So Luminios is almost definitely going to be moving up into the next brush as soon as he knows that the other players are not there. Actually, Upside's going to see him. He's almost in Twisted Advance range. Balls is trying to bait as well as he could. There, he flashes in. He's got the Twisted Advance. Oh, it follows Upside's flash. He gets the knockoff. Upside's getting very low. The sapling is good, but he's going to escape. Balls gets... Oh, no.
The sapling followed him.
The sapling followed him. And Balls actually just got exhausted there, so that's a waste of an exhaust, really, for Utterly Smooth, and a pickup of a nice kill for TKS. Zig is kind of cutting off Tofu right now, doing, whoa, a lot of damage. Brought Tofu down to less than half. I think...
Still has ult as well if he needs it.
Yep. After this beginning of the game, Chili, how do you think the lanes are standing?
I would definitely give Ziggs the advantage right now. He's bullying Cassiopeia. Though, like we were talking about blue buff earlier, I don't think either of them have been donated yet. As soon as blue buff...
But this is the first respawn for both of them. You can see that both just came out, and Huckett's already giving it to Lucas Flat.
The lanes might really change once these come. We'll have to see.
I think
it looks like they're both about to get it. You're
absolutely right. I think Ziggs is going to be able to use this blue a little bit better. Although Cassiopeia's passive actually scales so well with blue, she basically, her passive means that she has reduced mana costs when she casts spells in quick succession. And with blue buff, you have almost an infinite supply of mana. So she'll be able to keep her passive at full stacks and be able to reduce the mana cost of her abilities quite significantly.
I mean, I'd still give the advantage to Ziggs just because when he has blue, there's nothing to stop him from throwing the bombs as much as he possibly can, and he can kind of avoid the creep waves.
Actually, Huckett is now invaded, but he has been seen by both of these wards for TKS, and DN wisely moves up and wards just as Huckett comes through that tri-brush, and we'll see him before he's able to do anything. Huckett's actually circling around, maybe making a move at Dragon. No, he actually is not. Luminios is now covering top right now.
Actually, they just got a kill on Kenpachi.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he...
That's okay. I mean, I think Luminios is doing a really good job with those ganks. That's like his third successful gank.
Absolutely. And Maokai is
he's
a very...
2-0-1. All 3 of the kills he's been involved in.
Maokai is one of the more aggressive pre-6 gankers. So a lot of gankers like Warwick and Skarner are, they rely very heavily on their ultimates for ganking. They are, of course, suppression-based. But Luminios, he can get that Twisted Advance at level 2, and he can make a very strong gank after that. He won't get it at level 2 necessarily, but he can.
He's really helping out his team right now as well.
And that's what a Maokai really needs to do, He's picked up the early Philosopher's Stone. We do have Skarner with the Philosopher's Stone as well, but fewer rewards. And one of the reasons why we've been missing a few things is, unfortunately, we have to cast without sound right now. We are using a room mic, so without those, announcements, it's a little bit harder to hear when things are happening. So that actually puts Kenpachi at 0-2-0 right now with only 21 last hits, and definitely the top lane is going heavily in favor of TKS. Rekfi is playing very well and gonna absolutely accelerate into the early game. Look, he's got 57 last hits to 22, and he's 1-0-1. Like, the difference right there is huge, and we'll see in the items right here. He's got a Ruby Crystal working towards what looks like an Aegis of the Legion, with wards and a health potion and Merc Treads already, and over here we have only a Boots and an Amplifying Tome for Rumble, so that's a huge difference there.
Ziggs was just kind of, I guess, looking for a gank bottom, but it is warded, so the TKS knew it was coming, was able to avoid it.
And that's actually smart. This ward not only covers Dragon, but it also covers the range at which Ziggs would need to be to use his ultimate.
And in fact, Ziggs did actually come through the jungle, so he was spotted as soon as he came to that tri-bush.
Tofu stealing some raids, actually not a bad play. Not a bad idea whatsoever. Upside and Primal Urge definitely seem to have the positional advantage in bot lane. I mean, they are pushed, but being pushed is not necessarily always a bad thing. There's the DN ward on the aggressive brush, trying to deny as much push control as they can from Udderly Smooth. We got a gank on mid. Oh, Huckett pulls him out of the tower. Tofu actually, but he flashes over the bombs. That was huge.
Over all of them.
Over all the bombs. Unfortunately, Ugasplat was able to turn around just before Cassiopeia ult. If he was not able to, the stun would have lasted long enough for the tower to start hitting him, which would have been really strong. Smart plays by both players. It's always less effective for Skarner to be pulling somebody out of their own tower, because even after that, they're very close to it.
I was a little surprised that he actually used the ult rather than deciding that
it was ballsy, yeah. Kind of like our friend down here. But the CS right now for the AD carries is, again, very even. Both players have, Graves basically chose, Graves is a little bit ahead. He's a Vampiric Scepter over Sivir right now, but Sivir does have the Doran's Blades, and as well as an assist, which actually helps her out in a little bit of gold right now. But high CS right now is going to Ugasplat on Ziggs, and he's got the triple Doran's Boots right now, and I'm pretty sure, I'll actually check his gold right now. Oh, he has enough for the Needlessly, so he's going to be rushing that Death Cap, and I think that's going to be really strong.
I've actually been pretty impressed with balls to use Sivir in the bot lane. He's been baiting out the, oh gosh, I can't remember.
Buckshot?
Yeah, he's been baiting out the Buckshot with his shield and blocking a lot of damage.
For a while, when Graves was such a strong... Oh, wow, actually, Kenpachi's getting really low, and the Ignite will kill him just inside of tower range. Rekfi playing very smart, very aggressively, taking advantage of the fact that she's ahead, or he's ahead, and really snowballing hard. That really is going to be a pain for Udderly Smooth to deal with later in the game.
Tofu actually did try and go on Ziggs while that was happening as well, but wasn't able to complete the kill, and Ziggs is back, and we can assume, is he going to get, yep, there it is, that needlessly large rod.
Absolutely, and we actually see the difference in gold right now is 700 between Tofu and Ugasplat right now, because Tofu does not have enough for that needlessly large rod, not even enough, not nearly enough. I think he's going to be going for that Blasting Wand or Sorcerer's Boots on that back, but we do have a ping.
Huckett actually has Oracles. That's really early.
Early Oracles. And looks like they're getting a little bit aggressive right now. Udderly Smooth getting a little bit aggressive on bot. Looks like instead of going for an aggressive dive, Huckett's kind of setting himself up for a dragon soon. He has the boot to do an
attack on top. Kenpachi.
Oh my god, behind the tower dive. And the tower goes down. Kenpachi's in an awful situation.
What a horrible time.
He literally just got back to lane. And this is an interesting A play by Luminous and Rekvi, excuse me, saying, yep. And Utterly Smooth responds by saying, okay, well, you're beating our top down really hard. We're going to take Dragon. And that's actually quite an early Dragon, 13 minutes and 23 seconds.
And they knew there were 2 tops. So.
And they're going to, yeah, exactly. They're going to go get the blue immediately. So that's very smart by Utterly Smooth. That's going to set them up for a, well, they are behind. It's 5-1, and they are behind by about 2k gold. But 2k gold is not a huge amount. The blue does go to Ugaspot. Tofu almost simultaneously with picking up the blue from Luminous any second now. But I mean, just Rekvi is rolling right now, and he knows he is, and he's saying, listen, we can just shut down this Rumble. And unfortunately, Rumble's kind of in a position now where he can freeze farm. He can try to keep this wave really safe and nice in his territory and farm. But unfortunately, Irelia roaming is actually going to be just as dangerous for his team.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could tell from that gank that they really wanted.
Look at this right now. Rekvi's coming in, and he's going to find Huckett in the jungle. He's actually going to get the stun off, the slow off. There it is. And he's going to chase him down a little bit. And Ziggs, you can see, and Kenpachi are responding. But there's Ugaspot. Kind of wants to make something happen. Nah. Tofu's laying down some nice damage. So let's see. He did go for the Merc Treads. Actually, neither of the things that I said. Neither a Blasting Wand nor Sorcerer's Boots. He said go for the defensive Merc Treads.
Rekvi again invading, looking to get this blue from Huckett.
Or the red, yeah.
Or red, you're right.
Huckett's smite is down, so it looks like he can actually put that up.
Leaving it.
Yep. He used that. Oh, and there it goes. Rumble actually did ult for it.
And took it. Well, that's an interesting play, but
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's worth it. Especially because Rumble's been dying a lot. He'll have to keep that and not just give it to our red.
Well, definitely. Rekvi says, alright, you have red, but I know your ult's down right now, and I know that Huckett just backed, so I can actually be here pretty safely for a little bit, get some more farm, maybe even pressure you some more. Rekvi, or Kenpachi, you can just see he's hiding in the brush. He basically knows he can't face Irelia right now.
2 levels behind.
And bottom lane is, yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Rekvi's actually taking mini golems while she's up there.
Absolutely. I mean,
here comes Huckett.
Yep, Huckett's in. He has his ult. He's going to pop the shield for the additional movement speed, but nope, just wants the mini golems. He says, I don't need you. I just want these hunks of gold here, right?
Oh, Ugaspot in a bad position here.
Oh, yeah, he's actually taking a lot of damage. He will flash over the wall, but there's Tofu following him very nicely. He's going to ult on top of himself. Actually, Tofu with the Ignite took a lot of damage, but will manage to get away scot-free. And he just picked up, I think, a refresh for his blue buff. That's super huge. Not only did he get the kill, but he just got a refresh for his blue buff. He's going to have an advantage in lane, and that actually puts him almost comparable in gold right now.
And even more important than a refresh on his blue buff, Ugaspot's not going to have his blue buff for a long time.
Yep. Absolutely.
And that can really change the lane dynamics.
And that was turning that around very nicely, because you can see that Ugaspot actually had boots, he had the Needless to Dark Rod, he had much more AP than Tofu. But Cassiopeia, if you can down to the Ziggs skill shots, and if you can hit all of yours, you're going to win. Actually,
she kind of trapped him against
the wall. Luminous and Rekvi coming down the bot. I'm sorry, you trapped?
She trapped against the wall beside Raid. Let's watch this.
The flash in, and there's the twisted advance. He pops the ult. Actually, Rekvi's coming from behind. Primal Urge is going to have nowhere to go. The dashing rampage. There's the Ignite goes off on Upside. Even the heals are going to do this. He flashes out, but falls into the Q. Upside goes down, and Deanne with a nice ult to get him off of the tower, and some heal as well. Huckett's taking a lot of damage. Who's tanking right now? That actually is Luminous. This is the teleport in by Kenpachi, but you guys be careful. Not the best ult there.
Not worth it. If he goes in on that, he might, even if he kills Janna, there's 4 other people there.
Yeah, he's still going to die. And Rekvi is now 6-0-1. Could not have more of the team on his shoulders right now, just making plays.
I mean, you could see him, he died from behind the tower to get
Absolutely. Comparably, look at his gold. He's at 5,700 right now, with Ziggs at the next highest, and he's 500 gold behind. Ugaspot's trying to run away right now. Actually, the pool is missed by Tofu. He does get the Q off, though. Oh, but the Mindfield's going to miss. There's the ult. He's slowed. He's going to take a lot of damage. There's the Ignite. And again, having to use the ultimate, but still not being able to finish off Tofu.
Tofu being able to avoid all those Minefields was really crucial.
That's where so much of his damage comes from. I mean, if you can land the Minefield right on top of somebody, it instantly pops 3 of the mines, which is a significant amount of damage, but then also they're forced to walk through, at least 2 more.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Uga in that situation was trying to use it as a zoning technique rather than just to kill.
He may have just missed, possibly.
True.
Of course, everything that we're talking about is dubious in terms of whether or not it was intentional or just kind of happened to happen. I'm sure all of the good plays, of course, these players will insist that it was intentional.
We got some Primal Urge and Upside pushing down bot, it looks like.
Yep.
Doing as much damage as they can.
And we will see that actually, Primal Urge has pulled far ahead of Balls in farm, but Balls is actually 0-0-4 with those assists pulling in probably an extra 200 gold, whereas Graves has a death and no assists or kills.
Ooh.
Actually, here's Johnny coming in from the side. Dien has the oracles too. Has to be careful with that. Tofu's here, but he's kind of low. And Primal Urge's ult is up. He can do quite a lot of damage.
But he doesn't know that Tofu is waiting in the wings here.
Upside's got his ult too, and that crescendo into collateral damage can do a lot of damage. Balls wants it. Primal Urge wants it, but now his ult's down. Oh, they've set themselves up. They're way too aggressive. Tofu's ult is up. Doesn't need to use it, but there's actually Upside using a nice ult. Primal Urge will pick up the kill on Tofu, and they're going back in. Double kill, but Luminius is here. Deanne and Luminius have to do a lot of damage, but Primal Urge is going to get away, and that was the most important target. The man who just got the double kill is now walking away scot-free with blue, and Upside is more than justified in taking the death right here.
And Deanne is actually almost dead. Primal Urge
and here's Ugasplat. Actually, he's come back. He's laid down the minefield again, missing, unfortunately. Ugasplat's coming again. He's the buckshot on Deanne just before the ult as well. Oh, my God.
Some really nice plays from Graves there, Primal Urge.
Accelerating. You know, I was talking about how he was ahead but didn't have any kills or assists. Now he's 3-1-0.
Now he's ahead.
Yeah. He's super far ahead.
I thought that we had a really good bait.
Oh, and that's an IE. That's an Infinity Edge. Look at his gold. Look at that gold. He's got the BF. Is he going to get it?
But
he hasn't backed
around.
yet.
Here's Rekfi, the terror of TKS.
Yeah, Ugasplat's around as well. Primal Urge, just back, man. You have an Infinity Edge at 19 minutes. Just back. He has the blue buff, and I know he wants to use it, certainly. And, of course, he doesn't want to back right now because of Dragon, and that's definitely sensible. But he does have the Vampiric Scepter. He can always heal up, but now he's actually choosing to back. This would be the perfect time for TKS to go and take that Dragon without the now-fed Graves. Picks up that Infinity Edge immediately. Huge item, whereas Sivir right now is sitting only at a BF sword.
It's still a decent amount of damage, but, of course, Infinity Edge just
it's
so good.
Huge, especially with Graves' attack steroid and his E. Like, it's so powerful. Actually, the Oracles has shifted now from Huckett to Upside, and they have verified that TKS doesn't have...
Not in a good position
here. Shoot, he has the bomb. He could... Oh, but...
The poison from Cassiopeia takes him down.
He flashes outside of the range. If he had hit the bomb and then flashed, it would have been farther.
Got even more of a fight going on here. Luminios.
Yep. Luminios is going in the Huckett. The Twisted Advance is down, but he is slowed quite significantly. And there's the flash up. Oh, there's Rekfi showing his prowess. There's the exhaust on Luminios. It does not matter. Rekfi is godlike. Holy crap, 702. And Ball's actually, meanwhile, moving on to Upside. Graves needs to be here. Primal Urge, he just got fed, but he's not helping his team. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was down there. He needs to get out.
His ult is... Oh, it's down again. Did he just ult for something? Did he just ult creeps?
Maybe.
Did he just ult creeps?
Here's a free dragon for
anyway.
TKS.
Yep, TKS still in the gold lead and actually going to expand that gold lead quite a bit right now, up by 3k gold.
So I think we can tell how far Rumble was behind because that was a beautiful ult. That was right down the line of
didn't matter.
And it really, you couldn't see it do much.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his items. He got the Hextech Revolver, but the Hextech Revolver is like an early game sustain in lane.
Yeah.
We're at 21 minutes now, and really need to have some more AP at this point.
Ugasplat throwing down his ult mid to try and get Rekvi and Tofu off the tower. It works, but...
that's not a terrible play.
Assuming there's no team fight for a minute, he'll be alright.
Yeah, and I think that with Dragon down, it's less likely that there will be.
Probably.
With, one tower down and another one soon, well, not another one soon to fall, but kind of soon to fall. What are they called? Utterly Smooth are in a kind of a good position to farm right now.
The real question is, what can Utterly Smooth do to stop Rekvi at this point? 7-0-2. Got 1,600 gold just sitting there.
They're making great plays, and here's one of the interesting things, because Irelia is such a tanky DPS. She can build all of resistances, all health, and still do quite a lot of damage.
Looks like just picked up an Aegis there.
Yep. Which is going to help out her team fight considerably. Her teeth will also be nice and shiny. But I think, basically... As an AD carry, you're often asked to just, be attacking whoever you... Oh, but Ball's actually getting hit by the several ults, but the heal from nothing. What did he use? Oh, from the Summer Spell heal was used there, and that did save him. Basically, Irelia is going to be all over everyone, and that's going to be a huge problem. But Graves is going to be dishing out a ton of damage, as will Ziggs. So, I don't know.
It's actually really interesting to me.
It could go either way.
If we're looking at kills, right? 12 and 4. Once TKS is 3 times more than the other one. But if we look at the gold, it's barely a difference.
Yep.
It's
Dragons are even. Dragons are even, and towers are one in advantage, and that's one of the big things. They have a tower advantage. Utterly Smooth does right now. But you're right, 8 kills difference, and that's still.
And it's pretty close.
It's very close. Oh, Rekfi actually invading right now. They do have the ping. They know where Huckett is. He wants to go in on it. He just does ward Utterly Smooth's red. And Kenpachi's taking some mini golems. Actually, Rekfi going to back off and farm that up. Ball's trying to catch up to Graves as best as he can, but he's actually significantly far behind at this point. About 30 creep kills and, 3 kills.
Kill kills.
Kill kills. Champion kills. Oh, Rabadon's death cap is finished. That's a big item. I know Utterly Smooth wants to make a move now. This is the time. And they have an Infinity Edge, and they have a death cap, and on the other team, Tofu, what? He has a Hex Tech and 3 Dorans.
It's interesting. They have the big items on Utterly Smooth.
Yep. This is when they want to make the play. They have the IE, they have the death cap. Fight. Just fight now. This is what they want to do. And what they can do is have Kenpachi there. Let Kenpachi do what he can to assist. Even if he just takes damage at this point, it allows Graves and Ziggs to do damage. Kenpachi will have succeeded in helping. I'm of the opinion that they should not try to fight with that. They should not try to fight and let Kenpachi farm. They should try to fight with Kenpachi. Although we might get caught by Rekvi here. Rekvi does have the red buff, which I think he got from Utterly Smooth thanks to that ward. Down in bot lane, we have Balls going and farming up, but this is actually getting to the point where we can start to look at Dragon as a very feasible target by both teams. And it looks like we have Ugasplat's going ahead and backing again. What's he going to pick up this time? He actually grabs, the Hextech Revolver, going for the Will of the Ancients. Very strong with Rumble on their team. And Skarner. Some magic damage as well.
That's a good point. It doesn't just benefit him.
There's not too many strange things going on with builds. I'm trying to give it a quick glance here. And we have Skarner picking up an early Sheen, later going into a Triforce. 2 GP10 items on both junglers. And both supports as well. Which is definitely not out of the ordinary. Actually, this is important. Luminios, who's been doing quite well this game, 206, has already picked up the Shiralia's Reverie, though. And that's significantly ahead of where Huckett is right now.
That can be really crucial, especially if we're talking about getting picks.
Well, think about Rekvi. I mean, he's a melee champion. He moves very fast. The Shiralia's Reverie is going to help accentuate what Irelia is already good at. Look at this. Eating those bombs. Doesn't even care. Does have the Wriggles Lantern, of course, for the lifesteal and quick clearing of waves. Prime Large right now going to pick up some farm bottom.
We do have all
TKS
5 TKS kind of around mid, and Primal Urge has 1 top, 1 bottom, and 3 mid.
They want these towers. Right now, they're saying, we're not exactly sure if we can straight up win a fight, so we're just going to try to get all the advantage we can right now. And one of the areas that we're down right now is in towers. So Maokai lies down a great ult. That's very good positioning. It says, we can dive you if we have to, and if we do, we're going to be protected. But meanwhile, we're just going to grab this turret. It's going to be free. We have plenty of time to get up there and defend top tower from Kenpachi, and you can see that's exactly where they're going right now, as well as bottom lane to farm. So that wasn't them seeking out a fight. They were just saying, we've pushed, actually, they acted on the wave fronts, which is really a smart way to play. They said, our wave fronts are such that you have to be top and bottom right now, or you're going to miss a lot of experience in gold. So because we know where you're going to be, we're just going to immediately get a free tower mid.
So Rumble just fought Will of the Ancients, but Ziggs seems to also be working on it.
Well, it's the double.
I mean, it
double
works on both of them, but
yep.
Even so.
If you're familiar with the idea of like auras from World of Warcraft or some kind of Warcraft 3 game or something like that, in League of Legends, if you have an item that provides a bonus in the form of an aura to your team, you will get that bonus as not part of the aura. In other words, Ziggs, when he finishes his Will of the Ancients, which grants additional ability power and spell vamp, which is like lifesteal for spells, to his teammates, the item gives him the ability and doesn't give him the aura. Which, it turns out in practice then, that means if somebody else has the item that contributes the aura, that will stack on top of the item's original ability. Which is where the idea of double will came from. Basically, both Rumble and Ziggs, both Rumble and Ziggs will have 2 times this aura, which is 30 ability power and 20% spell vamp. So that's 60 ability power, 40% spell vamp, which is really strong. There's a ward right now, so they're actually upside despite the oracles is being seen right now. It looks like they're gonna get the dragon, but they're way out of position. Luminous needs to go in on that.
He should pop Shirelia's.
He popped Shirelia's, but he flashed, and they flashed over the wall, which was a very smart play.
Yep. They're
gonna get away scot-free with that dragon. Actually, oh no, but Luminous might catch up. There's the twisted advance on upside. Rekfi's there. He gets the slow. Actually, upside move back in. A great ult by Sona, but Primal Urge getting really low. Actually, gonna drop immediately. So that was. I don't know. That was getting a dragon and then taking a couple of deaths. The gold difference is still only 2.1k gold. It's not that much to really decide the game. Wow, DN got very low from that ultimate from Ugasplat.
And they're actually letting Kenpachi take top here, so it's not quite as bad as it looks when they took bot.
Utterly Smooth. Utterly Smooth was basically playing. They're not roaming as 5. They're splitting up as much as they can, and they're trying to get their advantage that way. But actually, Ugasplat got jumped on by Rekfi right here. This is really bad. They do not want to lose Ugasplat right now. A nice flash over the wall, though. and he will be safe.
But Kenpachi he just had a really slow start, and now they're letting him farm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's really what they want.
I was saying that if they wanted the team fight, they should bring Kenpachi in rather than try to do a 4v5 while letting him farm.
Oh.
However, they're not even trying to team fight at all. They're actually just trying to spread out and get as much advantage as they can. Meanwhile, TKS is grouping up, and I think
pushing.
Both teams essentially are doing what they should be doing for their playstyle. If you're splitting up, you should be taking multiple goals at the same time, like a turret and a dragon. If you're grouping as 5, like TKS is doing, you should be getting kills.
You should force
so they're both succeeding in their playstyles, and we'll just have to see which one ends up being the stronger one. Actually, look, both Diend and Upside picking up with the Oracles, picking up some wards right now. Both teams grouping around Baron with Dragon being down. No turrets really threatened right now, so the only real big goal on the map. Oh, actually, this is interesting. This is a good time for TKS to fight. Look at the wave bottom. Oh. They're going to miss a lot of experience in gold, but Ugasplat's actually low. He's going to get jumped on by Luminios, and then Rekfi's coming in. Oh, actually, Balls goes down. Oh, this turned around really quickly. I just messed up my screen. Primal Urge coming around. TKS has already lost 2 members of their team to 1 right now. It's a 2-1. Tofu needs to do a lot of damage to make up for that, but there's Kenpachi going down. Upside's going to go down very soon. A very nice Sona ult. Primal Urge is actually ripping Luminios apart, and this is, oh, it could go down to anyone. Udderly Smooth is going to win this. They're going to win this. Tofu's going to go down right now to huck it. And he has the red buff. He just needs to kite Rekfi. He can do this. This is a 2-on-1. Rekfi is not going to be able... Oh my god. Oh no. That's not... No, that kind of weird kiting around, I'm strongly of the opinion that could have gone in the favor of Udderly Smooth. Oh. And they kind of threw it away in the last second.
Down to 1v1 though. What a fight. I mean, I think we need to give credit for Kenpachi there. Finally doing something. Ooh,
and doing, yeah, quite a bit. At the very least, he was there with an aura. And he did AoE damage. And he took damage.
That was a great ult from him.
Yep, he was a great ult. I think,
And unlike the last time when he ulted, it actually, you could tell it made a difference.
Oh, yeah. And Primal Urge came in at a great angle. Normally as an AD carry, you don't need to be sticking your neck out like that, but, you know, Graves is more of a tanky AD carry, and he came in at an angle to immediately eliminate, who was it? To eliminate Balls from the fight.
Yep.
Tofu did a good job, but he ended up doing his damage a little bit too late in the fight, and Sivir was just unfortunately not as effective as he needed to be.
And that last 2v1 was really close. Rekfi so fed, but even so...
11-0-4.
Yeah.
He's got the Triforce now, and you're kind of hitting the stride where Aurelia is going to be so hard to take apart. At this point, the only person that can really kill her is Graves. Honestly, like, he has the consistent damage to make that happen.
Both teams moving towards Baron.
But oh look, TKS lost the Oracles. They now don't know about Udderly Smooth's ward, and that's a big deal. Because Upside has actually repurchased the Oracles. He does have it again, and Blue's kind of going blind. But there's the pink ward, very smart. Tofu sees that there is a ward. He will take it out right now. This is an awesome game. First of all, before we get any further, both teams are playing excellently. I'm having such a good time. Udderly Smooth Ugasplat has the ward. He goes ahead and lays down the damage in the end. This is to be a perfect engagement for either team. It could go either way very easily. We do have a blue on both AP carries, which is very important right now. Actually, Rekfi having a red and not a single red on Udderly Smooth, so that's an advantage. Also, one thing to point out, there was a huge wave at the doorstep of bot tower for Udderly Smooth at the time of that fight, so actually they lost a lot of golden experience way down here while that fight was going on, so that was a slight boon to TKS in that respect.
I mean...
The same thing's actually happening right now. They need to move down and take that farm. But in doing so, and you can see here Balls is doing that, but in doing so, they're going to alert Udderly Smooth that they are out of position. And so Balls needs to be super quick and taking this farm, grabbing red, and then coming immediately back to Baron before Udderly Smooth is able to force a 5v4. And we'll see some pings almost certainly in here a second.
There was actually a ping as soon as Balls was down there.
Yep, Udderly Smooth knows it's a 5v4 right now. They need to get down there. Actually, they may have also seen that Diend is backed. This is a perfect time for Udderly Smooth to go in. Rekfi actually taking that ward, but getting a little bit caught out of position. Luminios is there. No, he's going to be back out. He's going to be fine. Udderly Smooth, they had the positional advantage, and they're no longer using it. So, actually, they're going to be totally fine. Both AD carries picking up red right now. Looks like Rekfi's red is going to be not here for the fight, which is actually a big deal. Having that red on top of a phage from the Trinity Force allows you to stick to targets stupidly well. Like, Graves will not be able to run away from Aurelia. And without that red, it's going to be a little bit easier for him to negotiate that.
So you're actually just buying that Quicksilver Sash, perhaps tired of getting ulted by Huckett Wants to get out and be able to be involved in the fight. We did notice in the last fight, really wasn't able to do anything.
Not at all. I mean, he got ulted by Huckett, he got ulted by Sona, by Upside, and then was just blown up from the side by Graves.
Yeah.
And Sivir does such a great... Sivir's so powerful as a lasting character in a team fight. The longer she's in a team fight with her ultimate up, the better. Oh, and this was a great play by TKS. They destroyed the ward and then started Baron. They could easily bait this because now Utterly Smooth has no vision, but they know they must be doing Baron. And actually, they don't feel confident enough to even contest it. They're just giving it up.
I'm not sure they actually knew it was coming.
There's the Shirelli. Is this going to be bad? Ugaspot's going to get caught. He does flash out, but Rekfi flashes behind him and will Q onto him. There's Huckett getting caught. A lot of damage. The exhaust goes down on Huckett. Luminio's finally Twisted advancing in, and Balls is going very well. Primal Urge is out of position right now. Kapachi's going to get turned onto. Upside picked up, and not a single member of TKS is going to fall.
They can't stop Rekfi at this point. It's so
Tofu actually, Tofu's gonna die right now. The exhaust goes off. Balls or Primal Urge should turn around and kill him right now, but he doesn't. Instead, he's actually gonna die without at least getting a kill. And yeah, wow, ace for nothing and a Baron. Utterly Smooth had it. That wasn't like they weren't losing necessarily.
They needed to do something.
They needed to do. They let that happen.
The Baron, and then I really don't think they knew. They weren't sure because. When they were still hanging around right at the edge and were caught immediately by the Shirelians.
I think this is GG.
I think they'll be up, but I don't know if they can.
No, Rekfi won. They want it. They want it. You know right there. They're typing furiously to each other. GG. This is kind of a base race. Yep. Rekfi getting very low, but he is pretty tanky. Huckett's coming in. They need to not die right now. They're gonna choose to kill Huckett instead of targeting the Nexus, and they know it's GG. It's done. Balls. They have it. And that was just something that was so close. That turned around so quickly.
Yep.
You can't.
That Baron.
Yeah.
That was such a they killed the ward and then started right there.
And the vision from the ward would actually still show them that they started it.
That's possible. You're right.
Anyway, that's game one. We'll go ahead and end this because this has been really long. Thanks to all the pregame talk, and hopefully we'll be back, or hopefully we'll definitely be back in just a second with game two.